I guarantee you have never seen a GMT like this. And it's not because it costs thousands or it's from some obscure micro brand that you never heard of. This one is under $200 and it comes from the brand that has over 170 years of history. And it still manages to surprise us by displaying the GMT in a way that I think I've never seen of before. Meet the new Q Timex Continental GMT. And while I love almost everything about this watch, there is one complaint that for some might be enough to make them say no way. But if you can get past that, this could be one of your best purchases of the year. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Tyree and this is Unwound. We talk about where watches and stories meet. And today we're going to be breaking down the Timex Q Continental GMT. This is a reimagined take on a bold 70s icon that I've been falling in love with ever since I unboxed it. If you're new here or haven't seen one of my reviews before, we break down the watches using the 10S watch review format. Everything from the story to the specs, strap, shine, sentiments. And then we wrap it all up with a simple should you buy it score to help you decide if it's worth your time and your money. And let's talk about number one, the story. The Q Timex collection is already beloved for its throwback quartz energy and its unapologetic affordability. But this one, it has a little bit of unusual funk to it. You see, it's inspired by the bold glamour of the 1970s, particularly in that West Hollywood era. And where style was more about making a statement, this one definitely makes a statement all of its own. And personally, I picked this watch up because in some ways, I just want to make a statement too. As you can see all around me, I have well over 170 watches, most of them being Timex. And I have a watch box over there with over 20 different Timex Qs. But I had never seen one like this. And that's the reason I had to pick it up. And speaking of pick it up, let's pick it up and let's jump into the specs. So the movement, we're looking at a quartz analog with a battery that's gonna be an SR920SW. The case diameter is gonna be 39 millimeters with a thickness of 9 millimeters, so that makes it a very thin watch and it wears great on the wrist. The water resistance is only gonna be 50 meters, and the crystal's gonna be mineral glass. The case is a brushed stainless steel with polished accents. Lug width is 12, which we're gonna talk a little bit more about later. The strap is a synthetic rubber. There's also a black rubber strap, and there's also the bracelet that it comes with, as well as with the dial layout. There's gonna come in two different dial colors. You have the silver, which is what I have, but there's also more of a bluish color. You'll also notice that there's some other aspects of that dial that we'll highlight later. And this watch is lightweight, but not toyish like other watches, looking at you, Swatch Group. And it's slimmer than a cross-country runner at weight loss camp. It really is just sized right for most wrists. It nails the proportions. And if you're used to GMTs, like feeling like dinner plates, this one's gonna be a welcome change up for that. So next up, let's talk about the style about this watch. So this is where I think the watch really shines. The radial silver tone dial, which also comes in blue, with the faceted hour markers gives it this sunburst shimmer and good lighting. The 6 o'clock GMT window is subtle, but it's almost like a secret only you know about. It walks the line between being dressy and being chill, especially with the rubber strap. Is it a luxury GMT? No, but it channels a vibe of one in all the right ways. And in some ways, this watch is really different, but that brings us to number 4 of trying to find other similarities in watches that are like the same. So the first thing it reminded me of was obviously a Timex Q. I don't know too many watches that really have that look and that feel in that case. Between its radio dial texture and the GMT cutout at the 6, I've actually never really seen anything like it. The case design is so unique that when someone sees it, they basically know it's a Timex, and it's hard to really imagine it's anything else. And there's possible that there's some other micro brand out there that uses this internal GMT hand, but I wasn't able to find it. So if you have a watch that looks like this, let me know in the comments down below because I would love to check it out and potentially review it one day. Now let's go into number 5. Let's talk about the strap. So the option that I picked up is going to be that black synthetic rubber strap. It's soft, it's durable, it's perforated so it lets your wrist breathe. It's not really just comfortable, but it really helps tone down the dial's elegance for more of a laid back feel. But there's also the bracelet option, which I didn't purchase, but looking at photos, it seems to be one of the standard Timex bracelets, not one of the more premium ones, so you're not gonna have any issues. It's not like a hair puller like the traditional Timex Q bracelets, but it's gonna get the job done. But we'll talk a little bit more about the strap when we talk about some of the issues that I have with this watch. And now, here's a fun part. You know, I'm not actually sponsored yet, and I'm looking for sponsors, but I wanna talk about brands that I just really enjoy. And so one brand that I really enjoy that I think ties perfectly with this GMT is gonna be Smith & Rowe, and particularly their travel case. You see, I love their travel cases because they're incredibly luxurious. They're known as being some of the best handmade leather cases in the UK, and they ship to the US, so I had to get one. And so if you're looking for something that you're gonna be globetrotting with, your GMT, a Smith & Rowe travel case might be it. And if you're a brand looking to sponsor the channel, let me know. But until I get sponsors, I'll just keep talking about the products that I personally love to use. So next up, let's talk about the subdials, aka complications. And I had to use S for subdials because everything has an S. That's the 10S format. Come on, I can't do that 9S plus C. Anyway, so when you look at this watch, this is where it really stands out as something completely unique. A GMT window at the 6 o'clock. It's clean, it's unobtrusive. It doesn't really overwhelm the dial, and it actually makes using the second time zone incredibly simple. And then there's also a date window at the 3 o'clock. It's super easy to read, and it doesn't really feel cramped. I think that the integration of complication on this watch is what really makes it special and makes it so unique. I personally love it, but let me know what you think. Is this a little bit too different? Or is this something that you'd rock on your wrist? Next up for number 7, let's talk about the shine. Now, the finishing here, it's solid for the price. It's gonna be brushed steel with polished edges. It's gonna catch the light right. The lume isn't anything special to write home about. The crystal is mineral, so there's no sapphire crystal there, so you definitely gonna have to worry about some scratches. And the platinum indices, they elevate it just enough, so this watch doesn't really feel like a toy. So overall, pretty solid shine here. But let's talk about some of the issues with this watch. With number 8, let's talk about the shortcoming. And the biggest one, which honestly might be a deal breaker for a lot of people, is gonna be the lug width. A 12mm lug width is really strange. It really limits the strap options unless you're willing to hunt for odd sizes or make your own strap modifications. And that to me is really the biggest drawback of the watch, is not being able to change out the strap for anything. Could be a deal breaker. The other issue is, say you buy the one with the bracelet, you can't actually buy the rubber strap from Timex online. Timex, you guys should probably change that. But so if you wanted the other one, you would actually have to buy another watch. And the same thing, the colors, I think the blue only comes on bracelet. Yeah, so that's gonna be a major issue to think about. It's a small shortcoming. If you can overlook that, you're in good company, but I had to highlight the things that I see as shortcomings for this watch. The other shortcoming that could come up is also gonna be the crystal. You're getting a mineral crystal, but I guess that's what you expect for a price range, under $200. And the other thing, for some people, they may complain it's not a true Traveler GMT, but it's under $200. The GMT is in a entirely different way, so I guess it's up to you to determine how much that matters. So now, number 9, let's talk about the sentiment. And I think when I look at this watch, there's something to it. There's something nostalgic. It's something different, and that's really hard to find. When you're looking for a watch that has a good brand, good horology, that has a unique design, has great value, and has something that is just uniquely itself, like, this is really hard to find. Maybe you could say an AP has a unique design, but like, who has AP money? And then you have micro brands that have some cool designs, but they don't really have the heritage. And so the sentiment of this watch is that this could be special. This could be a classic, but only time will tell. But for the price, it's really a great deal. And speaking of price, if you want to support the channel, there's actually an affiliate link in the description so you can pick one of these up. That's going to be free to you, but it really helps keep the wrist unwound ticking because the videos aren't free and every purchase you make helps go right back into the channel. So let's talk about number 10, the so what. This watch matters because it proves you don't need luxury to feel elevated. It's a great GMT, a great everyday option for someone who wants vintage style, but with the modern practicality. And if you already own expensive pieces, it's the perfect weekend wristwear. It's affordable, it's stylish, and it's meaningful. So the question is, should you buy it? And here we rank watches 1 through 7. 1, stop, don't do it, my friend. And 7, sell everything but your soul because it's an absolute own masterpiece. And so when it comes to this watch, I think it's a solid 5. It's a standout. It's a great value, it's a great look, and it's something that you should look at adding to your collection. It maybe won't replace your luxury GMT, but it might just be the one you wear the most often. Now, if this review helps you, check out the affiliate links down below for not only this watch, but other Timex watches as well, because like I said, it really helps the channel. And if you're not trying to buy anything, all you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe. It's free to you, but it really helps me continue to make videos. And while you're here, check out one of these other videos. Maybe another review, maybe something that YouTube recommended for you. I don't know, whichever one you want. But just remember, for everything, there's a season, for every watch, a story. And thanks for sharing this one with me. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Peace.